Hey, this is Dr. Ranicki with Dr. Ranicki's Creating Wellness Center in Savannah, Georgia. One of the lessons that I love to share with my patients that I think will be an important one for you to understand as well is what really creates the whole aging process. And so to define that, I think that it helps to start off with teaching a little bit about what a free radical is. Most people have heard that term, but don't really know exactly what it means. And I think it helps to know what it means to be able to help to understand what creates this whole aging problem that we deal with. So a free radical, very simply, is a waste product that you get when you burn food for energy in your cells. Just like in your car, when you burn gasoline for energy, you get a waste product called exhaust, which is bad for you. And in your home, if you burn wood for heat, then you get smoke, which is bad for you. When you burn food for energy in your cells, you get free radicals. So if you can picture going back to a chemistry class once upon a time, the model, like you had the wooden balls with the sticks, that was the model for an atom. And there was the stick that went over to the little black ball that was an electron. And if you wanted to make a molecule connecting two atoms together, you found one of those little black balls that had two holes in it. You put a stick in each side and then connected the atoms together that way. Well, then your teacher said that the way that we get energy from this is by breaking that bond back apart. And when you break that bond back apart to get the energy out of it, one of those two atoms gets the electron in the divorce and the other one doesn't. The one that doesn't now, that's missing an electron, it is what we refer to as a free radical. And it wants its electron back. It feels incomplete. It's not whole. And so some free radicals are very weak and are not going to be able to do anything at all about that. Other free radicals are very strong, like oxygen is a very strong free radical. In fact, it's so strong that it can steal electrons away from things like steel and create rust, also known as iron oxide, or you'll hear it sometimes referred to as oxidation. So if this happens inside of your cells, if you have an oxygen-free radical and it steals an electron away from something, it's going to do a little bit of damage to that cell. Now, if it steals the electron away from the cell membrane that goes all around the outside of the cell, it's not that big of a deal. You're going to be able to fix and repair that before there's any real consequence of it. But on the other hand, if it steals the electron away from your DNA, if it just happens to randomly, accidentally bump in your DNA first, and then oxygen steals an electron away from your DNA, now you have slightly altered and rewritten your genetic code. But instead of rewriting it into something that makes sense, you rewrite it into gibberish. So picture the word dog, D-O-G. And if we steal the G away from that, well, then we have the word do, and that still makes sense. It means something very different, but it still has meaning. Whereas if we steal away the D, then you get og, which doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make any sense. So picture this kind of thing happening with your DNA, that an electron is being stolen away, and now there's some little part of that that's gibberish. Well, when you make a new cell, what you're going to do before anything else is you're going to copy your DNA. You're going to make two versions of that DNA, and then that cell is going to split down the middle, and now you got two cells, each with their own DNA. But that free radical damage that is accumulated over the years inside of your cells, that gets passed on in that copy. That copy has that same gibberish that the original had. And you start to get this copy of a copy of a copy effect. Every generation of cell has another one of those bits of gibberish in it, and now you're losing the ability to do certain things in your cells. So let's say, for example, that we're talking about the part of your DNA that has the code for how to make collagen. Collagen is a protein that makes our skin soft and supple and stretchy, elastic, instead of sagging and wrinkly and things like that. And if that little section, that code, gets turned into a bit of gibberish, now you can no longer make collagen in that one cell. Well, in one cell, you're not going to notice that, but have this happen to enough cells in your face, and now your skin starts to look kind of leathery and tough and wrinkly and old. And this is really where free radical damage comes from, or where aging comes from, rather. It comes from free radical damage accumulating in generation after generation after generation. So what does this have to do with chiropractic? Well, one of the key focuses of chiropractic is improving lifestyle. It's not just a come in and let me pop your back and get out of here, but most chiropractors focus a lot on helping their patients to achieve greater health by focusing not just only on the health of the nervous system, but also on diet improvement, getting better hydration to happen, better sleep, better activity levels, things to help with stress management. All the things that create these subluxations or misfiring nerves that chiropractors are trying to fix in the first place. So by improving your diet, you can reduce the amount of free radicals you produce. Certainly the more artificial stuff, the more chemicals there is in your diet, the more free radicals that you're going to make. But also, interestingly enough, the more calories you consume, the more free radicals you're going to make. And this is why that we see that take any kind of animal and cut its caloric intake by half, and you typically extend its life expectancy by 40%. So if we're talking about an average human who lives to be somewhere in the mid to late 70s, and you extended their life expectancy by 40%, you're talking about making them someone who becomes a centenarian. But realize it's not just another 40 years of struggling through life and feeling miserable and just so super old that you can't do anything. These are the people who are well into their 90s are still vibrant, they're still mentally sharp, they're still active and still playing tennis and golfing and things like that. Their quality of life doesn't suffer for that last 40 years of their life, and they just wish it would all end. They're living life to the fullest all the way up until the very end of their life. Wouldn't you want that too? So these are the kinds of things that chiropractors focus on and can help you to achieve in your health and in your well-being. So if you'd like to find out more about how chiropractic could help you to age slower, turn your health around, and improve your longevity, then I encourage you to get in touch with us there at Dr. Ranicki's Creating Wellness Center in Savannah, Georgia. By all means, please give us any questions or comments you might have below, and look for an upcoming video where we'll talk about the hero to the free radical villain called the antioxidant. Thank you again, Dr. Ranicki with Dr. Ranicki's Creating Wellness Center.